Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannon's Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs. Hi, on this week's episode of Classic Restos, I return to the beautiful Carlisle region of Pennsylvania, United States of America. But before we go into this week's Mecca motoring event, it's time for this. Shannon's offer us as enthusiasts just so much more. Classic bikes, cars, trucks. Bundle it all together with your house and contents and receive a multi-policy discount. Call Shannon's on 134646 for a quote. Sign up for the Shannon's Club. Interact with others. List your car club. Find events and so much more. The Shannon's Club truly is your garage at shannons.com.au. For oil, coolants and additives, choose Penrite. They have stood the test of time. Established 1926. Australian owned, Australian made. Oil with more zinc for older style engines. No matter what the engine, no matter what the application. Contact the Penrite Technical Assistance Team 7 days a week at penriteoil.com.au. Oil right, use Penrite. Simply a better class of oil. For some of the largest range of tools for all trades and DIYs, don't go past Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Established 1930, with branches around Australia and New Zealand. Their showrooms will have you browsing for hours, and no matter where you are, you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. From a garage jack through to a lathe, Hare and Forbes has the range. machineryhouse.com.au. I am proud to bring you the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals, where it really is about the cars, the people and the excitement. It doesn't get much better than a Carlisle event. You have your car shows through the year, then there's Carlisle. It's like the grand final, whether it's Ford, GM or Chrysler. Either way, you feel the epitome of world-class standard that has you begging for more over 3 big days. It's a gob-smacking 3,000 plus Fords on the show field, over 50,000 guests walking through the gates. This is Carlisle. And each Carlisle event is so radically different, and that is what keeps me coming back. This year, the Carlisle All Ford Nationals are celebrating their 20th anniversary from 1995 through 2015. There's the 50th anniversary of the GT350 Mustang, igniting the flame within speedy enthusiasts and the racing world, setting it on fire back in 1965 when performance from factory made you want to buy a car. This year also marks the incredible creation of one of Ford's most amazing vehicles of opulence to come off the drawing board, the Thunderbird, and its 60th anniversary. Carlisle Events is famous to the diehards for their on-site buildings that leave you in awe. Building G, a Fletch favourite, showcases the Thunderbird from 1955 to the most recent 2005 style. Building Y offers a brand new feature this year, the Ford National Select Display, a vehicle overview from Ford as a whole and what they have brought to the table for millions of people over many decades. This is just first gear in a 6-speed box of what's happening at the Carlisle All Ford Nationals for 2015. Choose your Carlisle event at carlileevents.com, then see it via a Fletch Tour at fletchtours.com. Making our way through the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals, we have Hank here now. Hank, Vice President of the AACA Museum in Hershey. Welcome to today's show.
Thank you very much, Fletch.
Now, you've got a very special car here, a stainless steel Thunderbird. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. This is the type of thing you can expect to see when you visit a Carlisle event.
Yeah, it makes it very neat. These are special cars.
Now, tell us, what was the thinking of Ford? Why did they do a stainless steel car?
Well, it was really at the request at the time of a company called Allegheny Ludlam. which produced stainless steel for Ford Motor Company's use in production, going all the way back to the Model A.
We're talking 1960 here. Now, how many stainless steel cars did they do? Because I heard that they did a pair, or they did two of certain models.
Right, that's correct. Two 1960 Thunderbirds, and the reason they are 1960s is because the stainless steel was so hard to bend, it wiped out the tooling.
So, Hank, we ask ourselves, why build a car out of stainless steel? Obviously, to prove that it could be done. Then there was the durability side as well.
Yes, that's exactly right, too. And Fletch, it was really for an advertising purposes for Allegheny Ludlam at the time as well.
Still got the same, the original exhaust system as well.
That's exactly right. For anybody who's thinking about doing a car with Type 304 stainless steel exhaust, it really does last forever, because this is a 55-year-old car with the original exhaust system and muffler.
Now, I don't usually ask this question, but because it's a stainless steel car, is there any figure at all that we can throw at it?
Well, the museum has it insured for over $2 million, so it's a big number. So we're very careful where it goes, and we have to tell Allegheny Technologies, the company that superseded Allegheny Ludlam, where it is, how it's stored, and they're very interested in everywhere it goes and how it's taken care of.
I guess that wipes out the opportunity of me driving it back to the hotel tonight.
I'll say, Fletch.
What I like about the stainless steel car too is that in terms of inside, we're looking at stock standard Thunderbird all day long.
Right, that's correct. It drives just like a 1960 Thunderbird. Everything is stock 1960 Thunderbird technology as well.
What's powering it up under the hood?
A 352 V8.
Interesting stuff. Well, there you go. Hank, thank you so much for turning up from Hershey Museum, Carlisle Events, and even Fletch and Classic Restos. We work in a lot with the AACA in Hershey, an incredible museum, and it's so nice that you've made the trip down and bringing such an iconic car. Obviously something that's going to top Carlisle Events here this weekend.
Well, it's definitely to be the only one like it here.
Thank you, Hank.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you are enjoying one of two very big episodes of Classic Restos, the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals, proudly brought to us by Shannon's Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs. Stay in your favourite chair. Back with more right after this.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannon's, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannon's. Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
In 1926, Australia's Penrite Oil Company was established. Almost 90 years of research, development and refining under the harsh Australian conditions has made Penrite Oil what it is today. Precision, performance, reliability and protection. Championship winning products. Trust Penrite.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. From a garage jack through to a lathe, Hare and Forbes has the range. And Hare and Forbes Machinery House are Australian owned, established since 1930. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au. Moving through the sensational Building Y. Hello, Ken, how are you?
Hi, Fletch, how are you?
Good, are you having fun?
Yes, sir, I'm very much having fun.
You'd have to. A beautiful 1965 Mercury Comet Cyclone. Doesn't get much better than this back in the day.
No, sir, that was a real fun car.
The restoration looks as though it was done 2 days ago. When did you do it?
About 2 years ago, it was finished up. It was about a 3-year process.
And why did it take so long?
The parts weren't available to restore it up until that time to be the proper restoration on it.
Wow. And how did you feel 30 years ago when you first got the car? Does it mean more to you now than back then?
Well, you could say I'm not bingy. I've had something for a long time, and I liked it then, and I still like it.
Ken, they're going to bury you with this car. You're never going to get rid of it.
Well, I told my wife, if nothing, have a Viking funeral and burn me in it.
That says something about how good a car is and what it means to somebody when a line like that comes out. Now, let's have a look at this car. We look up front. We have the mighty 289 going on there. You've done a beautiful job of restoring that.
Right. It's premium 289, 225 horse, 4-barrel, 4-speed.
Ken, the interior, absolutely beautiful. I mean, I can see why you waited so many years to do this right.
Right. It's just because the fact that the material for the interior was not available until about 3 years ago.
I mean, I love the styling of this car too. You've got something uniquely different. The square edge around the top of the fenders, the stacked headlights, always like a Fairlane Galaxy type feature there, a bit of a top end look.
Yeah, Falcon. And the reason being is in 1965, Mercury wanted to retool. And Ford said no because they retooled in '64. But if they absolutely had to retool, they had to use a Falcon door and a Falcon roofline. Yeah. And that's why when there's a Falcon coming in here, that's why they look similar.
Hats off to you, mate. Congratulations. A beautiful car.
Thank you very much, Fletch. It was nice talking with you.
Yeah, you too, Ken. Thanks for bringing it along. And hey, I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend here. Tell us a few words from yourself. You're sitting at home watching the show. Come to Carlisle, hear it from someone like Ken. What do you got to say about that?
Well, you got to come here to experience it. It's a fabulous place. It's something you don't normally experience just as a Ford owner, and it's important to get together and talk and share stories.
Good idea.
So,
thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Fletch.
An all first for this year is the Ford Nationals Select display here in Building Y, representing different Fords from different eras. The 60th anniversary of the sensational Ford Thunderbird. We have Sue. Hello, Sue.
Hi, Fletch. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Yourself?
Very well.
That is good. Now, 1955, this is the baby bird. This is where it all began with Thunderbird, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, Sue, the 1955 Thunderbird behind us, where does it go back with you? What can you tell us about it?
My husband and I were sitting, as we usually do in the morning, having coffee, reading the paper, and he looked across at me and he said, "There's a 55 Thunderbird for sale in the paper. Do you want to go look?" And I said, "You're kidding me, right?" And he said, "No, there is. Do you want to go see it?" I said, "Oh, yes." So off we went, and sure enough, it was in a local garage, and older people had it, couldn't drive it anymore, so it was ours.
So, Sue, it was a bit of a score for you guys to be able to buy the car in its entirety. You haven't had to restore it.
No, it had already been restored. It needed TLC.
Now, Sue, we look around this car. It's so opulent. I mean, it's so 1955, isn't it? I mean, the dashboard, the chrome, the highlights, the instrumentation. What a time warp.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's so much fun to just drive. We stopped for lunch day before yesterday, and a man came over and he looked at it and he said, "That's all metal, isn't it?" And we said, my husband said, "Absolutely. There is no plastic on this one."
That's it. You got two Hyundais sitting in there.
Yes.
Sue, great catching up with you. Thank you. The highlight of episode 1 here, Classic Restos, the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals and a 1955 Thunderbird. I mean, as we said, that's where it all began.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Fletch.
The mighty Ford Thunderbird, 1955 is where it all began, and this year marks the 60th anniversary. 16,155 of these baby birds were built, powered by the famous 292 Y-block V8 engine. Well, here we are in the United States of America, and I would really like to think that you could join us in 2016. Have a look at this.
You deserve a Fletch Tour. See the amazing Ford, GM and Chrysler Nationals at Carlisle Events, along with museums and private collections in beautiful Pennsylvania, USA. Then it's the Motown city of Detroit and its region, taking in more die-hard stuff with incredible history. Rounding off with the Woodward Dream Cruise, the largest moving car cruise in the world.
It just makes it so much easier on yourself when Fletch picks you up, drives you around.
Laughs, lots of laughs.
More than what I expected.
I'm definitely coming back again.
Go to classicrestos.com.au and click on the Fletch Tours icon for more information. Hope you're enjoying today's show. Back with more after this.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's,
We've also got Shannon's Home and Contents cover,
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Penrite, Australian-made, family-owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty-approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy-duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian-made for Australian conditions since 1926.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Hare and Forbes Machinery House have showrooms around Australia and New Zealand that will have you browsing for hours. See the largest range of industrial and workshop DIY tools. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au. There is just so much to see here at the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals. The variety is endless, and we have some variety here. How are you, Hoppy?
I'm fine, Fletch.
That's good. You've got a gorgeous 1955 Skyliner.
Yep, glass top they call them, and it's red and white. I've owned it since 1971.
1971. Was it in good condition then?
Not that good, but it was all right. It drove home.
I mean, we're talking the finest of opulence in the top-end cars here. I mean, 1955. The average American didn't drive around in one of these, did they?
Probably not. Not with all the accessories I have on it. That would have been a luxury probably back then.
It was back in an era where manufacturers built these cars. Every attention to detail was considered, right down to colour coding.
Yes. Yep, and you had different colors, and all of them beautiful colors and whatever, but I just happen to like the red and white.
Now
that's just my favorite, I reckon.
There's something about red and white. It's a great colour combo, isn't it?
Makes the green roof stick out real nice.
Yeah.
You can see that it's a glass top from the start.
Yeah. And how unique is that? Do you know how many of these were actually built with the glass top?
1,995 of them was built in 1955.
Really?
Yep. And 603 in 56, which was real rare.
Do you think there's many left?
There's more than you think. There's a whole lot of them. Yeah, they evidently, some of them probably got totaled, but the rest of them I think still saved a lot of them. I don't know how many.
You can
say half at least.
Well, you can send a bunch my way if you find some.
Yeah, I think they're nice cars, Fletch, so I think you'd like it.
Now, Hoppy, what powers it up front?
It's got a 272 automatic, 4-barrel, which is, just option on it too or whatever. Yeah. And the standard rear. Yeah. But I have all the accessories on it after that, that you add to it, the Continental kit, the bumper bars, rocker moldings, fender shields, day-night mirror. I've got most of it on it.
It looks absolutely sensational when we consider the length of this vehicle. I mean, as you say, the Continental kit out back, wow, that really dresses up the vehicle, doesn't it?
Yes, sets it off real nice.
Now, look, you're a clever kind of guy. You love these 1955 cars to the point where you've built a model, and not only did you build a model, you can actually drive it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this car?
Yep, we built a little mini car, I reckon you'd call it, and put on a golf cart. A guy by the name of Bob Hawes built the first one, and luckily he gave us the plans to make some of our own. So this is number 8, and this is the only one with doors on it.
This is just like the real car. I mean, you've got a working speedometer, you've got wipers, you've got the grills in place. I mean, everything works. You've got tail lights that come on. I mean,
I got all the tail lights, brake lights, everything. I can actually drive it at night, around in certain places,
Now, who helped you do the car?
My wife helped some. One of the painters down near me done the actual finish painting on it. I roughed it in as far as body work, but basically I pretty much done all the cutting and welding back together.
It's just awesome. This is just an example of what you'll see at any Carlisle event. It is, as I said earlier, endless. It's just so interesting. Hoppy, it's been wonderful catching up with you, and you're a man of innovation, and I appreciate that.
Yep. Thank you, Fletch.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Well, if you're a gearhead and you have a zest for excitement, you like things that go fast, right? Well, at Carlisle, it's your big opportunity for a ride-along in one of these high-performance Mustangs driven by a professional race car driver that hopefully, fingers crossed, apparently knows what he's doing.
We're about 520 to the crank, about 400 to the ground. Oh, wow. Running a new 5-liter Coyote. Yeah. What an incredible piece of performance.
It'll just do this all day, right?
All day long. We'll run like this all day long. Wow.
That's awesome. Well done, man.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, good on you, buddy.
That's good.
If you have a Mustang and you want it to really go around corners, why not speak to these guys at Gateway Classic Mustang? Their suspension systems are legal for sale throughout Australia and New Zealand. Now, what's a Ford show without a station wagon? The poor old station wagon over the years, well, Helena, they've kind of been forgotten about, but I reckon they're coming back.
Yeah, for a long time, people thought of them as family cars, you know, like the minivan of our time, and no one wanted to drive around in them anymore. So, but now that they're getting older and older, I think people are starting to pay a lot more attention to them as, you know, true antiques.
Absolutely. How could you not pay attention to a vehicle that was 20 feet long? We've got a 1972 LTD. Now, in Australia, and even over here, the LTD was a high-end car. It's so cool to see a full-size American car in a station wagon with an LTD badge. We've still got crank handles, we haven't got power windows, but we've got the 429 up front.
Yes, exactly. And that was one of the things that drew me to this specific car, was the fact that it came stock from the factory with a 429. I mean, a lot of the family cars back then, you know, because the 70s we started with the gas crunch in the US, so a lot of them started cutting back on the engine sizes. Yeah. And the fact that this one had the 429 was a big draw for me.
Well, I mean, there's nothing like crunching gas with a 429, a 4-barrel, and sucking huge chunks of atmosphere. I mean, that's how you get from A to B, right?
Yeah, these days, for sure.
And I mean, you got to love the wood grain. It's so gaudy, you have to love it. And when you see this car and the wood grain down the side, 2 screws at the front holding it on up on the front fender, it just spells United States of America all day long, doesn't it?
Yes, it definitely does. When you see a giant, like you said, 20-foot long, huge station wagon with a giant gas-guzzling engine and gaudy panels and 70s colors, because, you know, they all came in these horrible 70s colors, it does say America.
It's like we said, it's so bad you got to love it. Now, we mentioned the crank handles in terms of a feature, but you look on the steering wheel, it's got cruise control.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting in the early 70s which options actually came in these cars and did not. I mean, we even have, because we also have a lot of Mustangs, and our 78 Mustangs, my husband's Mustang has the power features and the power windows. Mine does not. So it depended which package you got in these 70s cars, which of the options it actually came with.
Helena, I love the car. I mean, the tailgate is huge. I mean, goodness me, if you laid it on the ground and put posts at each end, painted it green, you could have a ball game. It's massive. I love it, and it's unrestored. This is a 100% dinky dye, original as you find at Wagon. I love it. Thanks, Helena.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you've really enjoyed just some of the 2015 Carlisle All Ford Nationals exclusive to Classic Restos. Now, the Nationals rounds off nicely on Saturday evening with the street parade through downtown Carlisle. And if you have blue blood flowing through your veins, well, here's a little extra pump to keep it all going for you. Until next week, I'm Fletch, signing off from Carlisle, Pennsylvania, United States of America. Thanks for watching. Oh, enjoy the night cruise.
How's Fletch doing?
You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.